All right, fellow Vikings, welcome back. This time, let's talk about tools. All right, so there are tools on the market out there that are marketed to the yuppie in the city who thinks they want to do a green, like go green and be good for the environment and all that, that are actually more advantageous for people like me. You know, people out here on a homestead who don't have plug in the wall electricity and all that from the city. You know, like you can see a power pole back there. That's actually that's the closest power pole to my property, and that's right around 1,000 feet from here. Um, but I ain't going on grid yet. I don't need it. We have enough solar that we're right here, just enough solar panels right here that we're able to power our home decently throughout the summertime and all that. We're able to have our deep freezer hooked up, and it's a normal deep freezer. It's a chest freezer. You open it up, it can fit 3 of me in there. How do I know? I've laid in there. You can fit 3 of me in there. Um, so we have the power, right? We're producing it ourselves at home, right? Electricity, when you're off grid, is a more valuable resource. And if you're producing at home, solar and wind and hydro are really excellent solutions. Solar on a grand scale just really isn't. You're talking about hundreds of acres per city, and then massive battery storage banks and all that just aren't viable on a large scale. And if you're gonna if you're in a city that's going towards that, it's really it's not a good idea. You'll see in a few years that this is going to bear out. But yeah, for someone like me who lives off grid and produces their own power, an electric weed eater or electric tools in general tend to be the way to go, especially if they're battery powered and they still have the same performance as gas, right? I mean, I've used gas weed eaters, I've used gas mowers, I've used all of that stuff. I have a gas mower over there that my dad brought over from the neighbor's house to fix up and see if he can sell it or something. I don't know what's going on with that. But the best weed eater I've ever used actually is that weed eater right there. For residential models and all that, that one right there keeps up with, I'd say, at least any 2-stroke motor that's out there, and I don't have to pull start it. You know, it's literally you put the battery on, zzz, that's good to go, right? I just used it until it died. This is not the first time I've used it. I've used this thing for the last week or so. Because okay, spring, right? Spring is haying season. That means everyone is out of hay if the beginning of haying season is all rain. So I've had to go out here and at first, before I got the weed eater, I was out here with, you know, I'll show you what I had. Just hold on a second here. This right here is my brush cutter, right? It's just a simple brush blade, right? On a PVC pipe because I broke the actual wooden pipe that was with it. Right, just come out here, whack some of the bushes. Let me throw it aside. Whack some of the bushes, and then pick them up, take them over to the goats, and feed them. Right, I had to do that basically this whole entire last month because of all the rains and everything. Almost no one was able to hay. As you can see, my neighbor's field right here still hasn't even been hayed yet. Same with the other one on the other side. We've had way too wet of weather to be able to come out here and hay. So we were running out. I still had to feed my goats, and I don't have enough ties to tie my goats out all over the place. And the center of my yard is my garden, you know, so I got to keep them away from that. This whole center section, like you have the straw bales over here, you have the bales in beds here, then I have rows of corn and everything right here. Right behind the camera, I have a hill that has mint on one side, strawberries on this other side. Up along the ridge, we have the what do you call those? The sunchokes. We have our I threw wild thyme all along that hill, right? So that little hill section right there is all off limits. So that gives me the section behind the house all the way across that part of the property right there. For it's a 100-foot lead that I have across that a goat's able to run up and down. Then we have another section on the other side of the root cellar that they're able to eat on the other side of the solar panels, over here by the vehicle, and then right along their the paddock line, right? And other than that, they have to be inside the pens, right? And I have 10 goats, right? 10 goats on an acre and a half. Some goats aren't going to be able to go out every day. Even though she's saying, hey, I want my friends, I can't let her friends out because the one that's crying right there, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but she's crying right over here by the, what do you call it? What are those? Rabbits. Right by the rabbit hutches, right? She's like, I want my sisters up on the hill with me. Because, you know, goats are friendly, right? So she's crying up there like that. And I am way off topic, except for the fact that I was talking about having to feed them, you know. But I'm not getting paid for this, right? This is not a sponsorship. I'm not saying that this is right for everyone. If you live on grid, all right, and you're going to be plugging that into a wall, or you're going to be charging your battery off of a grid tied system, or, you know, or a grid system, then I suggest that you go for fossil fuels, right? For one major reason. If you want to be green, right? This is a major reason. If you want to be green. If you don't care about that, then do what you're going to do. But if you care about being green, you know, and the environment and such, right? If you're plugging into that wall, all right, they're using some kind of fossil fuel or nuclear power or whatever to produce that power, all right? So let's say they're burning coal. They have a nuclear reactor. They're using some sort of fossil fuels along the lines all the way through for the plastic casings and all that stuff, all the way to your house, all right, with drastic losses. You're using more fossil fuels there. You're using a lot more carbon in transmitting it from one place to the other and producing it far away from your house, right? And even if you're using nuclear power or you have a hydro dam, there's a lot of there's just as many or just as much carbon going into that as anything else. You might as well do a 1-for-1 ratio with your gas inside your motor and going out there and doing your job, because you're going to be producing less carbon in that case than what is produced in that power plant, right? So if you want to be green, you know, that might be a factor to you. To me, it's really not, because I mean, I'm not doing this for being green, though I would love to actually have someone come do the math, because I ain't gonna do the math on it, right? Come do the math and determine how much carbon I actually produce on the property, you know, how much carbon we use to live like this versus any other home, right? Because I mean, we recycle, reuse, and even with burning some of our trash and all that, or I'd still put my carbon footprint up against anyone, you know. I'm just saying, but that's not a factor. The reason why we live off grid is because it's drastically cheaper if you can afford just a little bit here and there, and reduce your life, you know, reduce your usage, right, to a manageable level, right, and then you can always add more to it and make things easier later on. But it's for us, right, it's about the bill, right? I don't have a electric bill. I have a generator bill for the winter time and all that, when it's getting too warm to keep the food in the freezer, during the fall and the beginning of spring and all that, or if like there's starting to be some defrost. But during the winter time, you don't need very much actual power other than lights, which the solar does provide, and maybe some entertainment like watching TV or something, you know. But use a computer, use a laptop, you know. But even that's not that much. But again, this is completely derailed again, because I'm talking about power tools. Yeah, no, the Ego line is a really good line. I chose this one for specific reasons, okay? This is their Ego 1534, ST50, the Ego ST1534, okay? It is a rear motor driven electric 56 volts power string trimmer, right? The reason why I chose this one in specifically is because it has a smaller head than any of your, or most of your other string trimmers. It's more comparable to a standard weed eater, right? It has as much, if not more, power than even your Milwaukee. It has, it literally goes head for head with the the gas trimmer that my dad borrowed from the neighbor's house. You know, like it literally, they are just as powerful as each other, right? And that's a 2-stroke engine, and this is something that I don't have to put fuel into, right? The sun powers my solar panels to my batteries, to the inverter, to the charger to charge that battery, right? And I pay for none of that. There's no mixing of gas. There's no loud noises. I can listen to talk radio, which, shocker, I listen to talk radio while I work. You know, I'm not out here listening. I love metal. Don't get me wrong. I love me some metal, but I'm not out here listening to loud, you know, rock and roll the whole time. I'm listening to like just debates and discussions on different things, you know, like from anything from politics, religion, philosophy, science, everything, right? I'm listening to these people talk softly, and I need to be able to hear that while I'm working. You know, I mean, we all know the benefits of listening to something while you're going, but the this string trimmer right here allows for me to actually be able to listen to what I'm doing, or listen to what I'm listening to, and work at the same time. All right, that's a major advantage above most others, right? I mean, have you ever been able to go outside and cut your tall shrubs and everything, and be able to listen to something at the same time without it being blaring? I think that's pretty cool, right? And as for power, I'm able to go, like, just a few minutes ago, right? I was over on that side over there next to my asparagus bed, and there was a large, what do you call it, blackberry stalk, a blackberry cane that was leaning over the fence. I'm like, zip, just like any other weed eater, right? It's a good weed eater. Plus, with Ego has this really cool thing where you're able to push a button and reel it in, right? I didn't get that model because that's a head-driven model as opposed to a rear-driven model. The rear-driven model makes it feel more like the string trimmer that you're used to, whereas a head-driven model, it's a lot more head-heavy. It wants to lean forward a lot more. So I went with the one that I'm more used to, and it gets bound up less. So if you have a smaller head, it's going to bind up less. But the head-driven models have a button where it'll wind the string into the trimmer. All right, and with this model though, you literally just stick it through and then you ratchet it, and it does the same thing. It's just a little more manual, but it has the added advantage of acting just like, it has all of the benefits of a normal gas-powered string trimmer, but you know, it's electric, right? So it has none of those drawbacks. It doesn't have the fumes, which I can't do because of my lungs. It doesn't have the loud sound, so I can listen to stuff while I'm working. All in all, I'm actually thoroughly impressed with this string trimmer. I'm not going to add any links below. I want you to do your own research for what works for you. I'm not suggesting that you even buy anything. Okay, I'm just saying if you live off grid and you're looking for a string trimmer, I'd give these guys a look. Right? There's plenty of videos out there showing, like, I went through like a good couple weeks looking for what kind of thing I want to go with. Right? There's plenty of videos on YouTube showing how they cut. It shows comparisons for power, battery usage times, charging times, literally anything you want to know about these products out there, right? That you can just easily just type in which one you're looking for. Like this one's the Ego string trimmer. Just type that in, all right, and you'll get dozens of videos talking about it, right? I'm just throwing it out there for off-gridders, homesteaders out there that may not be aware of something. It's a video. I'm putting some out for you guys. Be happy. Anyways, I am so done, right? I want to go charge my battery, and I got a couple more things to cut. But yeah, I mean, hold on. Well, I don't know if you can see this, but look. I mean, the garden's looking pretty good, right? I mean, everything, like I was able to get between the bales with it, you know, it's doing fantastic. So I can't be more happy. I mean, it's a good day, right? I'm having fun with it. I should mention the weight. It's about 10 pounds, right around 10 pounds. So it if you can't hold 10 pounds for very long, you might want to get a strap, right? Honestly, for myself, because my shoulders and everything and my back, I think I might get a strap just to have one, because then, I mean, even a pregnant woman can use it probably, you know, or you know, this big fat guy right here talking to you might be able to use it for longer. You know, I've had to take 3 breaks just to trim in between my bales and everything, which is fine for the trimmer because it allows it time to cool down. Anyways, I think I'm done with this. I've said this twice now, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.